Okay, I think we're ready to go ahead and get started. Thank you everyone for joining us tonight. This is Vice President Carrie Olson and President Carrie Olson and Vice President Jennifer Bacon from the Board of Education to provide an update on the superintendent search and next steps. Go ahead, we'll kick it off with President Olson.
Thank you so much for being here. As we mentioned in the school board meeting tonight, we're so fortunate to be a part of a community that cares so much about its schools. And it's been an emotional week, actually a year for all of us. And we're proud to serve in a community that continues to weather the many changes and are very resilient. We're grateful for the many comments, suggestions, and voices that already have been provided to us around this time. And with that, we'll open up to any questions, unless Director Bacon, you wanted to provide any framing as well, Vice President Bacon. Okay.
Okay, so we will go ahead and open it up for questions. This is just a media avail for those of you that have questions. Go ahead and put your name and who you're with in the chat and we'll go in order. Okay, our first question is from Teeny with the Denver Post. Go ahead, Teeny.
Hi there. Thank you guys for hosting this. Do you guys have an interim pick in mind yet?
We've been working since the news of Susanna's departure on an interim, and we're exploring several possibilities right now where we're really looking for an internal candidate who can follow our crisis priorities and provide some stability for our district, but nothing finalized as of yet.
Just to add to that, we do hope to be able to announce an interim the early part of December. Around the 2nd, we've timed it to our need to publicly post 14 days out from our public board meeting on December 17th.
Awesome, thanks. I have another question. No one else is asking yet. I know that COVID has presented new and amplified challenges for leading a school district. How, if at all, do you anticipate that will affect your search for superintendent? And do you think it will be any more difficult to find interested candidates based on the circumstances?
And that's something that's been weighing on our minds, and we've thought about that. In some ways, COVID is going to provide an excellent opportunity for us to be able to look for a new superintendent, because we'll be able to do more meetings via Zoom and send out feelers virtually. We haven't even begun that process yet, but from what I've heard from my colleagues in surrounding counties, that in some ways this provides a great time for us to be able to be looking for a superintendent. But of course, there will be challenges, because I'm sure there will be many leaders who are thinking about not leaving their districts where maybe they would be. But as we know, the only thing that's certain is change. And so we may be able to find an excellent candidate in the backdrop of this, and we're hopeful that we'll be able to. And I know Vice President Bacon has already, we can attest to the fact we've already received some emails from people who are interested in applying. So I think that our pool is going to be wide and varied.
Great. Next is Samantha with Fox 31. Go ahead.
Hey there. So I was curious, just kind of the additional challenges that will affect the district, not only during this search, but to have, as least impact as possible on the schools, with not only Cordova leaving, but as well as a second superintendent leaving within the same week.
Sure. And we know that our community has had not only the announcement of Superintendent Cordova leaving last Friday, but also yesterday we learned of Mark Ferrandino and Jennifer Holliday's leaving, which, while unfortunate, that was a plan that they had, both of them separately had been working on before her departure. But the way our students and families experience public education is through their schools and the teachers and the leaders and all of the support staff who provide excellent education to our students. And our goal is to really continue that and keep that moving during this time. And I think that we'll be able to achieve that. And I know that both Mark Ferrandino and Jennifer Holliday have strong teams in place that will be able to pick up their work and keep it going.
Yes, and what I would add again is reiterating what it is that we hope to find with an interim, not internal for internal sake, but who has a deep understanding of the work that we've already set out and planned and committed to for the remainder of the year. The board intends to focus on in the next semester solely pursuing what we've named our crisis priorities, and that is to be able to help the district and its management through the pandemic.
Thanks. Next question is from Melanie at Chalkbeat. Go ahead, Melanie.
Hi, yeah, Melanie Asmar, Chalkbeat. I'm wondering if the superintendent has a firm exit date yet. And I'm also wondering if the board is planning to hire a search firm for the superintendent search.
At this time, we're still working with Superintendent Cordova on her departure date. It will depend on when we can get an interim in. We'd like to be able to give the interim a nice runway with Superintendent Cordova so that either he or she understands the intricacies of where we are. But again, that's why we're hoping we'll be able to find an interim person, but still, if it's somebody who's, or an internal person, even if it's someone internal, there will be some work that has to be done to get him or her up to speed. And we have not yet determined how we're going to go about the superintendent search. It's been not even a week that we found out that Superintendent Cordova was leaving, and we recognized quickly as a full board, our first priority really needed to be to find somebody who can take the helm in the meantime before we hire our final superintendent.
Teeny with the post, go ahead.
Thank you so much. As you guys are likely aware, 2 other local school districts are currently searching for superintendents. Does that make the process any more competitive? And how do you plan to differentiate yourself?
Director Bacon, do you want to take that? I know you've got some thoughts on that.
Well, what I will say is that Denver is, a world-class city, and people have had a tremendous amount of interest in us over the last few years. And so we are going to lean into being able to share with people that we are inviting and welcoming people who've got some new ideas. This is a great opportunity to bring new talent to the district. And as you heard Director Olson mention a little bit earlier, again, Denver is a community that's on the map for some of the ideas that we have, the possibility for innovation. And so we look forward to putting out in the near future a narrative of what we are looking for, and really getting some people to come and talk with us about what's possible.
I would add that I think our work around creating dual language students, our seal of biliteracy, how we've really supported our students who are multilingual is stellar and really puts us on the map and shines. And along with the work that Director Bacon has been such a huge proponent of is our Black excellence work that we've done, and all of our equity work from our CELT team. I think that makes us stand out from our other districts, and people will want to come to work for us because we're thinking ahead on all of the things we need to do to best educate our students.
Okay, well, if any more questions, feel free to chime in or put your name in the chat.
Just really quick, sorry, Samantha with Fox 31 again. Where is Holiday going? Sorry for my ignorance if I missed a release on that.
Jennifer Holliday has not shared her next steps with us.
Perfect, thank you.
Well, if there's no further questions, we really appreciate all of you being interested in Denver Public Schools. We're grateful for this opportunity to share our thoughts with you and with the community. We know that our Denver education community is never shy in sharing what they'd like to see in their next superintendent, and we're really looking forward to getting this process under the way and being able to build on what we've heard from our neighbors over the last 2 years and building on that to select the next best superintendent. Director Bacon and I have the hope to be able to provide you regular updates on where we are once we get this process underway. And we hope you all have a restful holiday next week. And we'd just like to take this opportunity to remind everybody to wear their mask, practice social distancing, only socialize with people from your home so that we can get all of our students back in school.